Hello, I'm Tim Linsdau. I'm a video producer and a Christian. Today I'd like to talk about our divisions, political divisions, such as democracy and socialism. There seems to be a big split between young people seeking socialist ideals. Our country was founded on democratic principles of individual liberty. It was based on the economy. So every person's economy, in other words, how do they make a living, was to be protected through our Constitution. That was the main thrust of the reason for a government, was to protect the individual's liberty and their pursuit of happiness. Now, over time, that has seemed to have leaned away from that to more of a central form of government thought, and so where socialism comes from. Socialism is more of a central control of everything. And usually I think that comes from the fact where people see a failure of the individual system of liberty failing and not working. But it's not the case, because that's how we function, is based on individual liberty. Say you go to, you get up early, say an hour and a half before work, and you want to go get something to eat. There's myriads of places to go, all kinds of fast food and restaurants, and most of them are all run by individual owners running these businesses. And you can go there in the morning, get almost anything you want for breakfast quickly and at a fair price. And these things aren't centrally controlled by the government, they're controlled by individual business owners and their employees. The government didn't spend time making decisions about their inventory or necessarily about how they were going to cook it and prepare it or the price of it. Those are all individuals, and it wasn't centrally controlled to make it happen. Cell phones, smartphones are a very big thing, especially with the young today. Well, the government didn't invent those. They don't sell them. They don't set the price on them. But there they are in tremendous abundance, shapes, sizes, makes. The government doesn't run that. They're run by companies and individuals. That's how it came about. So why would somebody want something centrally controlled? Why would that make any sense? The 20th century is full of that type of thought. The Soviet Union is an example. And it finally fell apart from that. But it was a terrible price as people paid under Soviet communism, without any free thought, forced to do whatever they thought was the best for the government, for the country. And it did so poorly it eventually failed. There are other examples of that. Something interesting in China. Even though they still have a Chinese government, they did go to a more of a free economic system, and it exploded. I think much of that was from the help of America. That was, in a way, to some of our benefit, of course, which may camouflage the difference between our system of liberty and communism. Excuse me. But I think in colleges that many professors, for whatever reason, started to admire socialism. And I've used a phrase for many years, and I call it the benevolent benefactor syndrome. You get into a position of power and thought, and you start thinking that you can control things and fix everything if they just listen to you and do it your way. There are so many examples of that utopian thought that have failed. And I know they keep trying because they believe the reason it's failed is just simply because they haven't done it, which is a very prideful approach. But it has caught on among many in the youth of our society, and mainly in universities, where they've learned what they think is the way to do this. So presently in our government and amongst the population, we have a growing division between that view of liberty and the pursuit of happiness and a more socialist system. I think the communist era of the 20th century would be astounded at the success that socialism, maybe even communism, has had in our American universities. But it's really a fantasy to believe that you can centrally control things and that it'll work, because you need to capture all the minds of your country. When you capture all the independent thinking, independent pursuits, then it all starts to work. And many great things start to happen because you're free to think and free to invent and free to invest. Capturing the mental capacity of your nation, you have to free them up to do that. You cannot control things in a central group. It's not enough minds. There's not enough mental power amongst a small group of people. You need to capture everybody's thinking and let the economy of pursuit of happiness weigh it out to what's best. People will test things and see how they work. What's best, what's the best price, and that's what they'll pursue. Now, are people perfect? Do they do the right thing? Do people in business not cheat, not do the wrong thing? Yes, because they're human beings, they're fallible. No matter what system we operate under, people are fallible. They make mistakes. They pursue their own desires over others. That's one of the advantages in a free market system, is that freedom, that openness. It's also spiritual. You're free to pursue your own spiritual wants and needs, what you see as right. Mine is from the Bible, a Christian perspective. I believe it's the right and perfect one. And there's a lot of history that shows that it is. But there's a lot of history to show that it hasn't worked because people have misused it for their own wants and needs. And selfish wants and needs. When we need to be pursuing love and the care of one another, how can we help others? And that's really what good economy is. Is you're going to find a way to serve others to make your living. You're helping people solve a problem. In the morning, you get up, you're hungry, you need food. And people looked at that and said, well, I can provide food. I have a way to do it in my restaurant, in my grocery store. I know how to do that. I know how to do it competitively, successfully. And then it goes out from there. You have a car. Car companies try to produce the best car they can for the price. The people who buy it, they've solved a problem, transportation. If you have to take public transportation, trolleys, trains, those things are all built by individual companies to help people get around. And it's really incredible, the ability for us to get around from place to place. Now you can get on a plane and fly halfway around the world with very little problems and not actually that expensive. It's really an amazing thing. But all of these things happened because individuals were driven to make a living, and they do that by serving others. And that is how you do it. You want to serve others. Present a product, solve a problem. That's what it's about, serving others. Yes, people do these things out of selfish needs, but it really comes down to serving others, helping people solve their problems. So let's think about being an individual, being responsible, and serving others. Thank you. I'm Tim Linsdau. Please like and comment on my video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.